From sleek, powerful cars to off-road supercars you never heard of, join me as I show you some rare and forgotten supercars of the 90s. Number 10. Axiom Megatruck. In the mid-90s, the Megatruck was the first and only off-road supercar Axiom, the French company, ever built. You might wonder how it was possible to build a supercar capable of going off-road, but the Axiom managed to produce such a vehicle. They equipped it with an adjustable suspension that owners can transform from a regular sports car into an SUV in a matter of seconds. The complicated system allowed 8 to 13 inches of ride height, and in just one moment, the Megatruck could become a true off-road beast. Behind the driver was a massive 6.0-liter V12 engine from Mercedes-Benz that produced 400 horsepower and powered all four wheels. However, the concept had its drawbacks since the Megatruck was a heavy and big car. It weighed over 2 tons and had a length of over 5 meters, which is more than the Mercedes S-Class. Number 9. TBR Speed 12. TBR, the British sports car company, was famous for producing a series of capable coupes and power roadsters, but never a proper supercar. So in the late 90s, company management decided to present the ultimate version of their popular Cerebra coupe. They named the Speed 12. The Speed 12 was a brutal, extremely powerful sports car and practically a race car for the street. It had a 7.7-liter V12 engine, producing around 1,000 horsepower, but they never published the exact number. TBR designed the car primarily for racing, but due to the change of rules, its racing career was short and unsuccessful. You almost have to wonder what would have happened if it was allowed to live longer. Sadly, we'll never know. Number 8. Lister Storm. The Lister Company was best known as a racing outfit and for preparing racing cars for a number of mainstream manufacturers like Jaguar, Maserati, and Chevrolet. But in the mid-90s, Lister decided to make their own sports car using a highly tuned Jaguar V12 engine. They called the new model the Storm, and it featured a V12 engine producing 550 horsepower. The engine displaced 7 liters. They derived it from a Le Mans racer. Lister made their own body, featuring a wider track to accommodate wide tires, as well as lots of scoops and spoilers for better cooling and aerodynamics. At the same time, Lister offered Storm as a passenger car at almost $450,000 and a racing version for private teams. However, despite the brutal power, 4.0 seconds to 60 miles an hour and over 210 miles an hour, only 4 customers ever ordered it. That's pretty sad when the orders can't even reach 10. Number 7. Grifo 90 Concept. The legendary Iso Grifo was the 60s and early 70s left an everlasting mark on the industry. So in the 1990, Pietro Revolta, the son of the founder, presented the Grifo 90 Concept. They built it on a Corvette C4 chassis with a special new body Marcello Gandini, the renowned stylist, designed. Unfortunately, serious financial problems forced the cancellation of the project. Soon the Grifo 90 was forgotten, and that is a big shame, since the Grifo 90 used the Corvette C4 ZR1 running gear and chassis. This meant it had a 405 under the hood and brutal performance numbers. The Iso Grifo body was even a bit lighter than the Corvette, which improved its top speed. Number 6. Chisetta Moridor V16T. When they first offered it in 1988, the Chisetta Moridor V16T had the potential to become the next big thing in the world of supercars. This car had it all, including a celebrity endorsement, an Italian background, famous contractors, an exotic name, and the top technology. But the main feature of this obscure beast was a monstrous V16 engine they made out of 2 flat-plane crank V8 units mounted transversely behind the cabin. The V16 engine had 6 liters of displacement and delivered 560 horsepower, which was a fantastic number for the late 80s. Their performance was equally impressive. The V16T could accelerate from 0 to 60 in just 4 seconds, with a top speed of over 200 miles an hour. Even today, those numbers would draw attention from the supercar crowd. The base list price was sky high at close to $300,000. Sadly, they ceased production after only 20 examples, which is why they are a rare sight today. Number 5. Gigaletto Aerosa. When they presented it in 1997, the Aerosa was an interesting supercar from a joint venture between the Gigaletto Design Company and Lamborghini. Lamborghini did the engineering work and fabrication of the prototype, and the Gigaletto did the design and aesthetics, obviously. They sourced the power from Ford in the form of the 4.6-liter Mustang V8, producing around 300 horsepower. Even though the proposed price wasn't so high and the car had respectable figures, the project never advanced beyond the prototype one-off phase, which is never a good sign for car projects. Number 4. Spectre R42. In the early 90s, the British company GT Developments decided to move from their Ford GT40 replica business and enter the sports car game with the R42. They based the design of the R42 on a GT40 space frame chassis using a modern Ford V8 engine. The design was elegant, and the interior featured more appointments than the regular GT40 replica model. They presented the car in 1993, but the market never showed much interest due to its obscure background. Another factor was that the supercar market in the early 90s was suffering from the recession. Number 3. CMC Centinaire. The Automobile Club of Monaco is a powerful institution in the car world, so to celebrate its 100th anniversary, the club decided to construct and build a supercar. They named it the Centinaire, introducing it in 1990. They produced the Centinaire until 1992, during which time they only produced 5 units. The power came from a Lamborghini V12 engine. However, the later versions had the Mercedes 6.0-liter V12 tuned by AMG. Number 2. Tatra NTX V8. You probably remember the defunct Czech car Tatra, which produced luxury sedans behind the Iron Curtain. But in 1991, a group of young, talented engineers decided to make a supercar using race technology and a Tatra V8 engine. And the result was the Tatra NTX V8. Introduced at the Prague Motor Show, the NTX V8 received many orders, but the product proved to be difficult, so eventually they canceled the product. They only completed 4 cars, so it's a real shame that the NTX V8 never got the chance to race against Ferrari, Porsche, or Maserati. Number 1. Panos Esperante GTR1. If you're a 90s kid, you probably remember the Panos Esperante GTR1 from those popular cult racing games like Gran Turismo or Midtown Madness. This American supercar was the talk of the racing community in the late 90s. However, despite the promising start, Panos built only a few racing versions and 1 street-legal example. The technology behind the Esperante was clearly for racing purposes. It had a space frame body structure, lightweight panels, and 2 seats. Also, it had an engine they mounted towards the middle of the car for the best weight distribution. And there you have it, a set of 10 rare and forgotten supercars of the 90s. Which of them do you think didn't get the time and attention it deserved? Have you ever seen one of these yourself? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the channel.